my friends, and welcome back to EVE Online with me, Mark from DadX. I do like these new kind of docking, logging in, undocking animations in the player-owned structures. There it is, very nice. Aura pops up to say hello. As you switch ships, this does become more populated, so if you don't switch your ships very often, and this looks a bit sparse, that might be why. But you can see a couple of my other ships around. Yeah, I like it. Anyway, the business of the day is this wonderful ship, the Thrasher Fleet Issue. I'm enjoying this very much. In my guide to the new Navy destroyers, I did mention this might be good in the Abyss, and it is. I'm enjoying it anyway. The fit I'm using today is nothing revolutionary at all. First of all, we'll look at the bonuses on the hull. Now, I've got Minmitar Destroyer level 4, so I'm getting 20% boost to the damage from the guns, 20% boost to their rate of fire, which is another DPS bonus. Combined, I'm getting 60% reduction to the signature Aegis Bloom from my Microwarpdrive, and there's a 50% hull bonus to optimal and fall off ranges, which is very good. Up in the high slots, we only have 6 turret slots now, and we've got 6 200mm AutoCannon IIs. I have trained this alpha, this is an alpha clone, but I have now trained him into Tech 2 projectile weapons, and with a short range hail ammo loaded, we've got a fall off of just under 9 kilometers, an optimal of 1.1. but we've got 424.7 DPS, which is splendid, and our tracking speed on these turrets is just over 300. It's 306.18. If we switch over to the long range barrage ammo, we've got an optimal range of 2.3 kilometers, a fall off range of 18 kilometers, and our DPS is still 264, which is very impressive. I like it. The range means we can hit stuff outside of the range at which it can neutralize us. That's going to be more important, I think, on tier 2s when we're running a pair of these, which we'll look at in another video. And we've still got that great turret tracking speed of 306.18. So I'm very happy with the performance of the guns. Also in the cargo hold, I do have some Navy EMP ammo. With Tech 1 guns, that was very handy to have. For some of the rats in there, we don't really need it. I found that the hail really is the only ammo we're using. Barrage, don't need it. Though I haven't needed to try to kite anything with the barrage ammo because it's trying to neutralise my capacitor yet. We also have a small compact energy Nosferatu up in the high slot. We don't really use much capacitor, but why not grab some as we're flying around the rats. We've got a compact Microwarpdrive to get us zipping around in the Abyss site. I've left myself some CPU and power grid spare on this fit deliberately for those of you that have a little bit more trouble maybe with your fits, a little bit of leeway. But of course you could fit the restrained version there. I've got the Tech 2 medium shield extender because we want as many hit points as possible. And we've got the compact Stasis Webifier in there to finish off the mid slots. I was a little bit torn between that and invulnerability field, or it's a multi-spectrum shield hardener, isn't it now? But I went with the Weber in conjunction with this compact tracking computer down here. And I could fit a Tech 2 one, but as I said, I left a little bit of leeway on the fit. It gives me just better tracking on the bigger guns. I've gone for the 200mm guns, and with the Weber slowing them down, it just makes the application that much better. With the 2 Gyrostabilizer IIs to boost the DPS. In the rig slots, I've closed the EM hole. I've got 2 extenders on there. They're all Tech 2. They don't really need to be Tech 2 rigs. They're not expensive though. The EM one is very handy. It's only just about 2 million, I think. Just over 2 million even over here. So yeah, you don't really need Tech 2 rigs, but why go stingy on your tank? With all the loot taken out the hold, it comes in at about 55 million there, which is realistic, and I think that's probably taken me about 10 runs to make that ISK back. I've done about 10 runs. I think I've made about 55 million, but we'll talk about that when we're out and about. So I think it's a pretty nice well-rounded fit. Hit points wise, we come in at 10,249 EHP. We are a little bit low on the thermal resistance, but I think we'll get away with it. We're going to stick to gamma sights, which is reducing explosive resistances for us and the rats. And since most of the damage we're doing is explosive damage, that's good too. Anyway, without further ado, let's get this thing out into space and into a site. I'm going to do some repairs. I overheated the guns. I'll show you at the end of the video why I overheated the guns. We're going to do a whole run through first, and then I'll show you a couple of highlights from some of the other runs. Let you see this thing going through its paces. Notice how the view kind of wobbles in and out as you rotate. That's a new aspect of ship spinning. And of course, if you hold down Alt and use your scroll wheel on your mouse, you can get in nice and close and have a look at all the grimy details. I do like this ship model very much indeed. Anyway, let's get undocked and get out into space. I have noticed that the undocking animation is of varying lengths, and this time, unfortunately, we get a very short one. Okay, so here we are. We just landed at our little saved safe spot where we use our filaments. So let's fire those. I'm already in a fleet with myself. 2 filaments, of course, to take a destroyer into the abyss, or 2 destroyers. But it's just me today. Double the loot for me, haha. Right, so we're in, we're committed. 20 minutes or we're dead. And there's no way out. What we got first? A Leshak. Right, we're going to get the Microwarpdrive burning. I'm going to click approach just to get us heading in his direction and moving. But now I'm going to have a look. You can see the little arrow showing he's moving down and to the right. So I'm going to double click over there to intercept him. Once we get into about 20k, then we'll click on to an orbit to get in nice and close to him. And everything should then be tickety-boo. It's just a question of how quickly we can take him down, and I'm confident it's going to be pretty nice and quick with this Thrasher. So let's see. The format for today's video is I'm going to play through the bit fighting the ships in each room at normal speed, so you can obviously get an accurate impression of that. I'll probably cut the bit where I'm going box to box, and we'll get back to it as I just get to the bioadaptive cache, the last box. And we see what I've got in that room. But now we're nice and close to the Leshak. He shouldn't be applying any more damage to us now. You can see my armor is a little bit chipped. That is from a previous run. The Leshak is down. That took 12 seconds from first shot to last. That's pretty good. It's going to take us longer than that to get around and get the loot, so I'm going to go and do that. So here we are, the bioadaptive cache in the first room. We've got a bit of loot out of the first 2 boxes. Let's see what's in the third one. Come on. We want some nice loot today, please. A couple of decent filaments. Let's have a look what that adds up to. The first room has given us 3 million ISKs worth of loot. Just shy of 3 million, it says there. That's not bad. Right, let's get on into the next room. Going around and having to get the loot, the Microwarpdrive makes it bearable. It actually works out. It gives us enough time to recharge our shields, even in those rooms where I've taken a bit of a kicking. It's only once I think I've had to wait around, and not for very long, because just getting around all these boxes, some of the rooms have 4 boxes and they're quite spread out, and yeah, it gives you time to recharge your cap and your shield anyway. Right, we've got 3 cruisers in the second room, so we're going to get straight into the fight. We're not going to mess about. I think my tactic now, particularly with the destroyer, is to get straight into the fight, sort the rats out, and not even worry about heading towards a box. I'm sure the rats may be acting a little bit differently. They used to always kite out to you a little bit more than I think they do now. But anyway, as long as we get in nice and close, we'll get the web on there. We'll get the Nosferatu going just for a laugh. We really don't need the cap. We're never short of cap in this ship. Although, as I think I've said, I've not been muted by anything yet. So we'll see how we get on with that. Hopefully the plan is to stay out of his newt range and take him down with Barrage. But these 3 cruisers are just not really much of a challenge for us. Again, we do take some damage, but that's okay. We'll be all recharged by the time we get to the gate. These drone cruisers can move pretty quickly, so it is actually quite handy to have the web. And if you're having trouble staying in a decent range, just fire the Microwarpdrive now and again. You'll get a feel for the ship and how it accelerates and decelerates. I'm certainly getting better at it over the course of the 10 runs that I've done. Just to keep you in control of your range, and that's about all there is to it. So no stress. We've lost about a third of our shield, but we've never looked at all dangerous, and as I say, by the time we've gone around and got these boxes picked up, we'll be all good for the next room. So I'll go and get the other boxes picked up, and I'll meet you right here as I'm approaching the bioadaptive cache. Lovely little screenshot there. The environments here, as I do say a lot, do impress me. I love them. Very colourful, very imaginative, worth a look. While I'm enjoying the view, please remember, leave your comments down below. Have you given this a go yourselves? Do you think you will end up having a go at this yourselves after you've watched this video? What's your favourite destroyer in the tier 1 abyss? And leave your in-game name in your comment to have a chance to win one of these mighty fine Leshak skins. And remember, you can sell these skins, they're worth a pretty penny Even if you don't use them, they're worth a lot of ISK. Don't forget, I have done numerous runs with just a regular Thrasher in tier 1. I have suffered the occasional loss, but it has been highly profitable. And that was with Tech 1 guns. So even a regular Thrasher, now that I can use Tech 2 guns, would be much more effective. So yeah, I will be having a look at that actually, because I didn't try it with Tech 2 guns on a regular Thrasher with this alpha. That is a way of doing it. I'm quite happy to lose a ship now and again, pushing my luck. You know I am. I actually find that quite fun. And the challenge is one I enjoy rising to, as I say, but you might have to accept the occasional loss, knowing that you'll be making a profit overall and getting into some situations where it's actually testing you as a pilot and you're getting much better at getting the most out of your fit. I think pushing yourself in PvE is a way to get your game ready to go into low sec and maybe some PvP. Anyway, that's just my theory. So we're now up to just 4.1 million, not really much in that room. Let's see what we get in the final room. Third time lucky, 4.1 million so far. Okay, we've got 2 Vila Damovics, 1 striking, 1 shining, and the little drone friends. The shining Damovic is the one target painting us, that's what shining means. We're going to go in for the striking Damovic first. I really don't think these guys are going to be much of a problem, but let's see. If you get a little group of renewing Damovics, they can be a little bit of a pain to get killed because they'll rep each other quite powerfully. But once you've chipped away at the first one, it'll get easier. The striking Damovic is inferior to the high DPS type, but he's no problem for us. We're not taking much damage at all here. He's got very balanced resistances. And then we're just going to take out his little friend. Once these 2 are dead, their drones will become completely deactivated and we can just ignore them. There's no need to take down the little drones. They don't really seem to do us any harm whatsoever, or nothing noticeable. And there you are. That's those 2 little frigates dead. We're doing very well here. Oh look, there's one of the little drones left to just hang literally in the abyss. We're spending a lot more time here getting from box to box than we are taking down the rats on this run by far. What we got in here, a raging filament, that's 11.9 million. That is a very uncommon drop. My average on these runs is probably about 4.3, but on this run we have totaled a whopping lovely 16.9 million, it says there. On another site out of the 10 that I've run, I got about 8.5 million dropped, but I say most of them are consistently about 4.1, 4.2 million. So I think over those 10 runs, I have paid for this ship, which is one of my KPIs. It's always good when the ship is paid for. But what we're going to show you now is the toughest fight I've had, or the rats that are giving me the toughest fight in this bit. And it's this trio of devoted hunters. They're hitting me on my 2 weakest resists, EM and thermal. These are the rats with the big EM hole resistance-wise. They've only got 5% on their shields and armour. And their best resist is against explosive, which is my main damage with the Tech 2 ammo. These rats are the reason that with Tech 1 guns I brought. Me being me, I've actually brought the wrong faction ammo for this run. So we'll stick with the hail. In fact, I found the hail is the best by far. Don't worry about the resistance hole, just whack them with the hail. As a wise man somewhere once said, I am sure. Anyway, I'm actually heading over to the extraction node here. This is the first time I've met this spawn. And it's the second run I did in this ship. And as I said earlier, I now go straight in for the rats. I don't hear. I assume they're going to come and kite and stay at a decently close range around me. And they don't. They drift out of range completely. So I turn around, get into an orbit and get into the fight with them. That allows them to get a bit of free damage on me before I even get in there and start hitting them. And it does get a little bit low on the old shield, but I'm never worried. What you've got to bear in mind is that once we've taken one of these guys down, they've lost 33% of their DPS. Also, I'm going to be in closer. I'm going to be harder for them to hit. Their actual incoming damage will go down. So you can have those little dicey moments now and again. But if you look at how the shield is going down compared to how I'm taking them down, I'm confident I'm going to win, basically. I'm sure that the web slowing down the rats so I'm applying my damage better is better here than an invulnerability shield hardener would be in giving me a little bit more tank, because this is one spawn out of all of them. I'll show you a cruiser that caught me out, but that was slightly user error. But this spawn of 3 devoted hunters, and on one run I had these in 2 of the rooms out of the 3. They were both fights similar to this, but in those fights I never got below, I'm going to say, about 20% shield. and just recharge my shield while I was picking up the loot. So with these guys, just get in close, use the hail, get your web on them. If they do get a bit of damage on you early on your way in, don't worry, once you're in you should be able to ride it out. This ship is really giving me a lot of confidence. You know, it is very tough. It's tougher than the regular Thrasher for sure. And there you go, we have survived what is the toughest fight. But now we're going to go over to an encounter I had with an Ember Grip Tessera. Now this is a battle cruiser. He's reasonably tanky but not really hard. But he hits really hard up close. He starts hitting us at about 9.2k. So sensibly I should be switching to Barrage and kiting this guy. And killing him a little bit more slowly. I think we get, what was it, 260 odd DPS with the Barrage ammo. But no, I want to go in close because I've paid for this Thrasher Fleet Issue now. So let's try it with the hail. This guy's doing 100% thermal damage. We've only got a 20% thermal resist. I mean, I could drop an extender rig and maybe put on a thermal rig. But let's see. If we survive, we survive. And surviving is good enough. Yeah, it doesn't matter how much shield we've lost, but we've actually lost half our armor there. We've taken 3 big hits off that guy in close, which is why you want to try to kite them. With Tech 1 guns, that's very, very difficult because of the whole DPS to range kind of balance with the Tech 1 and faction ammo. But with Barrage ammo, kite the guy at about, I don't know, 12-15 km and just burn him down. And the result of that encounter was our first proper bloody nose on the Thrasher Fleet Issue, which I am finding is very well suited to the Tier 1 Abyss. Let me know in a comment your thoughts. We're going to try a pair of them on Tier 2 Abyss. It'll be even smoother running than when we tried it in 2 regular Thrashers. And obviously then I was using an Alpha and Tech 1 gun. So I think we'll be pretty good as a pair on there. And that's it for now, guys. Leave us a like if you've enjoyed the video, found it interesting and informative and entertaining. Subscribe if you want to know when the next video is out. Take care of yourself and each other. Fly brave. And for now, my friends, goodbye.